Whoever conceptualized the idea of a roll call for ANC councillors must be kicking themselves. The event was, by all accounts, an unmitigated disaster. It was first and foremost an ill-considered publicity stunt and the worst election campaign launch idea to emerge from Luthuli House so far. It also produced two moments that would have sent PR strategists to the ICU with incurable migraines. These were by courtesy of the two most senior members of the organization, its president Cyril Ramaphosa and national chairperson Gwede Mantashe. In this episode, I ask what necessitated the gathering and whether it is likely to improve the ANC's performance at local government level. I also argue that it is highly unlikely to lead to improved performance by councillors who are themselves products of a failed system. Welcome back to Joe Talks Politics. I am your host, Joseph Mosia. I'm really glad to be back after 2 weeks of the most severe flu I've ever had. And please forgive any sniffles and wheezy voice as the recovery is not yet fully complete. Let's get right into this. So the ANC held a 2-hour closed meeting with 4,800 of its councillors at Nasrec. This was called the roll call, and depending on who you ask, it was either a strategic masterstroke or a sign of a party scrambling to hold itself together before the 2026 local government elections. We've seen a lot of these turning points in the ANC before. But is this really one? Let's start looking at the past 3 decades of local government in South Africa. Since 1994, the ANC has been the dominant political force in most municipalities. But over time, many of these municipalities have fallen into deep dysfunction. As of 2024, according to the Auditor General's latest reports, only 38 out of the 257 municipalities received clean audits, and the vast majority of those were run by the Democratic Alliance. Meanwhile, ANC-run municipalities have been plagued by massive financial mismanagement, inability to spend allocated budgets, lack of qualified staff, and rampant cadre deployment that values loyalty over competence. Let's be clear, this isn't new. It's systemic and it's political. Municipalities like Makhanda, Maluti Apofung, and Mfuleni have become textbook cases of collapse. Where refuse is not collected, electricity cuts are daily occurrences, and water is either contaminated or completely dry. Yet these problems didn't emerge in 2021 or 2016. They've been brewing since at least the mid-2000s during the post-Mbeki and pre-Zuma years. And despite the ANC's dominance at the ballot box for the most of this time, service delivery protests have steadily increased. So what does this history tell us? It tells us that what's broken is not just technical capacity. It's political will and accountability. Let's talk about what happened at Nasrec. The closed-door meeting with 4,800 councillors was billed as a training and introspection session. Cyril Ramaphosa addressed councillors directly, telling them bluntly that unless they improve, the ANC is dead.
The most essential ingredient in our action plan for local government are yourselves as councillors who must take up this task. Comrades, without you doing anything, we are dead. We are dead. It basically means we may just as well all pack up and go home. You are the ones who are supposed to turn things around. And what we are doing is being a catalyst. You know your area. You know the rock face against which you are working.
That's not hyperbole. That's desperation. Remember, in 2021, the ANC lost control of major metros including Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni and Tshwane. For the first time in its history, it fell below 50% of the national vote in local government elections. That's an existential threat. And Nasrec was an attempt to arrest that decline. So is this a party in panic mode? Absolutely. But is it also the official launch of their 2026 campaign? Again, yes. This wasn't about capacity building. It was about optics. A televised, centralized moment to say, we see the problem, we are doing something about it. And that brings us to Ramaphosa's most striking admission. In one of the most politically revealing statements in recent memory, Ramaphosa admitted that DA-run municipalities outperform ANC municipalities when it comes to clean audits.
Comrades, it cannot and must not be acceptable that in our country we control a number of municipalities. It is hugely painful each time when the Auditor General comes to report to Cabinet and they put up their report, and those municipalities that do best are not ANC-controlled municipalities. And I can name it here because there's nothing wrong with competition. They are often DA-controlled municipalities. We need to ask ourselves, what is it that they are doing that is better than what we are doing? And there's nothing wrong with us saying we want to go and see what Cape Town is doing. We want to go and see what Stellenbosch is doing. How do they craft everything? We need to be moving up the ladder of being good at what we do.
This is not something an ANC president says lightly. For decades, the ANC's strategy has been to deny, deflect, and discredit opposition governance, even when the numbers said otherwise. So for Ramaphosa to say it publicly, at a party gathering no less, signals a clear break from the past, or at least an attempt to make one. But we should ask, why now? The truth is, Ramaphosa is trapped between two forces. On one hand, there's the professional, policy-oriented wing in the ANC that wants reform, competence, and results. On the other, there's a deeply embedded patronage network that relies on deployment, contracts, and protection. His clean audit comment is a nod to the first group. But it's not clear that he has the power to dismantle the second. And that's why his warning that the ANC is dead if councillors don't improve is not just rhetorical. It's prophetic. Because the numbers don't lie. So let's get back to our question. Why should South Africans believe the ANC is serious this time around? The honest answer? There's no clear reason to believe it yet. The post-2021 crisis already gave the ANC a wake-up call. Fast forward to 2025, the same dysfunction remains. And that's because the core of service delivery failure is not a lack of training. It's the political economy of the ANC itself. Municipalities have been treated as sites of patronage rather than platforms for service. Councillors are often not the most qualified candidates, but the most connected. Tender processes are manipulated, and administrative staff are appointed based on factional alignment. Until that culture changes, it won't matter how many roll calls or training sessions the ANC holds.
We need the 4,708 councillors of the ANC to be dedicated, to be capable, to be accountable leaders, and to be leaders who are not going to be captured. Some may well have fallen into the temptation of being captured by business interests, by syndicates. And comrades, today, this is a time that we give you to free yourself. Come back home. Come back to the organization. Be part of us again so that we work together to improve the livelihoods of people. Because those syndicates, and we are going to go after them. We are going to go after those syndicates. We are going to set up teams that will go after those syndicates. We know them and we are going to nab them. Now, you free yourself now before it is too late.
Cyril Ramaphosa has always been open about the dangers the ANC faces if it does not change course. He was the first president to openly declare that the party is the #1 accused when it comes to corruption. And now he's told ANC councillors that unless they improve service delivery, the party is dead. But the real question is not what he says. It's what the party does. South Africans have heard these warnings before. They've seen roll calls, policy statements, and renewal summits. But what they want, what they need, is clean water, working electricity, safe streets, and honest councillors. Until that becomes the ANC's lived reality, not just its campaign slogan, we are not witnessing a renewal. While Ramaphosa's DA statement was true, many would argue that to make it less than a year before the next election was unfortunate. It was a gift that the DA will proudly display on their election posters. In the context, it was a major faux pas. To make matters worse, it followed another off-color remark by National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe.
Oh, Yema. I know that we have a lot of singing councillors, but we have no councils. We all sing well, but capacity dololo. Yabona, no mamela. Yabona moska ungabona. No. Nanso okay. That is the council we are having. Comrades who are councillors, leaders of the ANC, who make noise when a meeting is underway.
Ramaphosa later tried to soften the blow by joking about how Mantashe had been mayor for only 2 hours. While the remarks may harm the ANC's interest during preparations for elections, they are otherwise spot on. Not only about the councillors, but the entire organization. Songs and slogans are now all that this once glorious movement is left with. Talk of renewal has long been discredited. So calling councillors to a lunch in Johannesburg may have given them a day off. But not many South Africans believe that they will become new people all of a sudden, imbued with a spirit of selflessness and dedication to service delivery. So do you believe that Monday's Jamboree was part of the renewal? Will all the leaking water pipes and potholes be repaired by Friday morning? Tell us what you think in the comments section below. And if you want us to continue bringing you hard-hitting analysis of the country's political developments, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.